It's great to have you join us on this week's episode of the program Youth Can, a platform that has been created by Independent Television Abuja, where Nigerian youth with innovative ideas converge, share knowledge in changing the negative narratives about youth in Nigeria. I am your host, Osawoname Ibizubi. Last week on the program, we were joined by a foremost Nigerian politician who was Deputy Senate President between 1999 and 2007, Ibrahim Mantu. Mr. Mantu advised Nigerian leaders to ensure that they put ethics and values at the forefront of leadership. Mr. Mantu also advised Nigerian youths with dreams of holding political seats to ensure that they serve with humility in all they do at any capacity they currently find themselves. Let's take a recap of last week's episode.
Youth, they always see their leaders as role models.
Yeah.
Just like, we who are parents, our kids as they are growing, they see their parents as the greatest people on earth. They are role models. They like to be like, there are some like to say, I want to be like daddy. The lady will say, I like to be like mommy, that kind of thing, because they see you as a role model. So if you are also not living the right kind of life, and you're not doing the right things, the youth will also copy what the elders are doing. For example, if you have young people, like those of us who are politicians, every time you go to campaign, you go with Rolls Royce today, tomorrow you go with Mercedes, next tomorrow you go with BMW, the other day you go, you are changing cars like shit, like you are changing your dress. And this is the kind of thing that we are building up in the minds of the younger ones. When I grow up, I want to be like Senator Mantu, who came here with Rolls Royce yesterday. The other day I saw him with another Mercedes. Or the other, that kind of thing. And so on and so forth. But, how do you come about that? I'm not accusing anybody of living well if God has blessed him with the right money, if he made the money through the right way. But most of us who have been in government, and most of us who are displaying this kind of wealth, are actually taken from the till of the government. It's not through our hard work and so on and so forth. So, the society is like a computer. Garbage in, garbage out. If you, the leaders, are not actually living an correct exemplary life, what you are, the lifestyle you adopt for yourself will be the lifestyle that the youth are going to also adopt. If you look at it today, some of the people are complaining that youth has not been fully accommodated. But please, my dear, look at the youngest governors today. The worst things are happening in their states. The worst things, the lack of respect for the constitution, illegality, all sorts of crimes and the rest of them, criminality, rigging of election to be in power by all means. It's all, most of these things have been committed in states where the younger persons are in government, are governors, right? So you find that, it is not true that even if you give the youth power, they are going to be better. No, to me, I used to think so, and I used to also preach for that. But from what I've seen over the years, the young people who were given power, some of them are in a hurry to make it more than even the older ones, because some of the older ones are saying, well, I've seen life, so what is it again, new? But the young man, when he comes, he wants to conquer the world in one night. They spend more time enjoying themselves than actually time to govern the state. Go to some nightclubs here, around there. They call it for the big boys. And when you go there, you see some governors there, they go by 2 a.m. and live there by 6 or 5, even 5 or 6, right? And yet in their states, they have not paid salaries. They have not paid salaries. They are only salaries for about 6 months or 3 months or so. And yet they will have the audacity to go and have fun and enjoy themselves. That is unforgivable. Let me tell you this. This nation needs to be born again as a nation. And the youth are part of the society. Until there is a holistic change, we must transform from the lifestyle we are living in now. There is a need for all of us to look back take stock of our lives and what have we done, those of us who have been given opportunity to serve. Take stock, look back. In what way have we positively impacted the society? In what way?
This week, Umar Mantu, son of the former Deputy Senate President Ibrahim Mantu, who contested the Mangu Bokas Federal Constituency seat in the Federal House of Representatives in the 2019 general elections, will be speaking to us on the need for youth to start strategizing towards the 2023 general elections. But first, let's take a break.
Keep working hard. Keep your eyes on the ball. Whatever career field it is that you're practicing in, find a mentor in that career field, humble yourself before that person and serve relentlessly, and you would learn so many valuable skills and lessons that will take you such a long way. So be humble, be hardworking, be prayerful, and be stubborn about your dreams.
In the interview segment, Umar Mantu highlighted the strengths of youth, advising his fellow young Nigerians to ensure that they channel their energy into the right ventures. He also emphasized on the need for more education to enlighten people on the need for peaceful coexistence, which he said will in turn translate to national development. Let's take a look. On today's episode of the program, I'm being joined by Barrister Umar Mantu, son of a former Deputy Senate President Ibrahim Mantu, who prior to the 2019 general elections declared his intention to run for the Mangu Bokos Federal Constituency seat from Jos Plateau State at the House of Representatives. It's good to have you on the program.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Today. Yeah, Mr. Umar, you ran for a seat at the Federal House of Representatives in 2019. How was it? How did it go?
Thank you very much for having me. Yes, I was once an aspirant in the 2019 election for Mangu Bokos Federal Constituency in Plateau State. It was definitely a life-changing experience. It gave me a lot of insight as to the workings and the political space and election process of Nigeria at this point in time, and I feel that any youth or any young person or anybody who is interested in politics or has something to offer in terms of service to humanity and society should definitely go on that journey, because there's no substitute for experience.
Okay, just like you've mentioned, I recall you mentioned that you were motivated by the innate desire to serve humanity. How have you been doing that? In what spheres of the society have you been contributing to the service of humanity?
Well, personally, I grew up in a family with parents who are absolutely caring, who absolutely imbibe the culture of wanting to be your brother's keeper, wanting to do your best to love your neighbor as you love yourselves, and things like that. So for me personally, growing up, from being a peer counselor in school to currently being a Rotarian, and I also have a foundation also called the Manumar Foundation. We do a lot of work in healthcare, in education, in community development. It's been existing since 2014. So for me, it's, I feel a life worth living is a life worth investing in humanity, because at the end of the day, no man is an island, and even with all your successes, you're not going to live it alone. You're going to live it with people at the end of the day.
Okay, you just mentioned, and it's obvious that you're one of those at the forefront advocating for the global goal for sustainable development by 2030. How have you been doing that? What have you been doing, and what are you doing to attain these goals?
So for me, I've had the opportunity and the privilege, because I call it a privilege, to serve and to be part of the Sustainable Development Goals in different capacities. By virtue of my foundation, I've done a lot of work in maternal and child health. I've done a lot of work in basic education and literacy. I've done a lot of work in economic and community development. That's by way of my foundation. And then by being a Rotarian, there's 6 major areas of focus, which is the first 3 that I mentioned. And then there's also the importance of water, sanitation, and hygiene. There's also the importance of youth development. And there's also the importance of growth of seeing society wanting to be better. So I've had the different opportunities in different capacities, both by foundation, both by work, and then also by Rotary. And I will keep doing that as best as I can to the best of my capability.
You spoke on the issue of youth development.
Yes.
How would you describe youth hunger to take up leadership roles?
I think it's very paramount.
Okay.
Kofi Annan, may so rest in peace, once said that if a nation does not tap into its youth, it's not going to benefit or get the development that is desired.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important that those society taps into its youth, and then the youth hunger itself is for the right reasons. Because at the end of the day, hunger can drive different things. It can drive you to positively or negatively. So I would hope that the youth hunger for wanting to serve or to lead your nation or to be a leader is for the right reasons. And I keep urging anybody who has such passion or desire for it to please explore it. Because at the end of the day, leadership is not given to people.
Right.
You must show the qualities, the capabilities, and the interest for it before society feels that you're either worthy or you're not.
Okay, I'm sure you would agree with me, and a lot of too many people have the same perception that the Not Too Young to Run bill that was passed in 2018 to a large extent gave the youth a platform to run for political offices in the 2019 general elections. How would you assess the effectiveness of that particular legislation?
Well, first and foremost, I have to absolutely congratulate Yaga, because that was the organization that did that, for Not Too Young to Run. I mean, our political space and our election has a very long way to go. If you paid attention to the 2019 elections and you see some of the European Union observation recommendations that we're giving from international observers, we have a long way to go. Not Too Young to Run was one step. It gave us the opportunity and the courage as youth who want to take the step to contest. But then again, there are other things that need to be done. The price of, for example, the price of forms, the ability to even afford to run for office. So there are so many things, but I definitely commend Not Too Young to Run because it's a first step in the right direction.
Right. Okay. Now, 2023. This is 2020. We have
Yes.
2 years to go.
Yes.
And political elites are
Yes.
already strategizing towards the 2023 general elections. Would you say youth are already doing the same?
I think youths are doing the same. Are they doing enough? I don't know yet because I have not sat down to personally do a survey. But I would say that definitely political strategies are being done now. And if there's anybody who has interest in 2023, if you haven't started, it's not too late. You can still start and catch up with the bandwagon, because I know that most political parties right now are worrying about how to do their party congresses,
Right.
from ward level to LGAs to state and things like that. So it's going on. It's not too late and it's not too early, but I feel things are going on, and I feel the youth can tap into what is going on right now, either by way of supporting those who are going for certain party positions. If you are in a party, if you're not in a party, you should get interested by educating yourself in the knowledge of the party process and things like that. Because as things stand in Nigeria, you cannot run independently. You need a political platform to be able to run whatever it is that you're looking for.
Okay, so should we be looking forward to you coming out for any political seat?
I mean, I've done this run before,
Yeah.
so I'm not scared. If anything, I'm more confident than I ever was. So, but 2023 is still some time,
Yeah.
and I think that with good health and with the right strategy, nothing is impossible. So we'll wait and see when the time comes, by the grace of God.
Okay, now talking about general elections in Nigeria, it is sad that elections in Nigeria are oftentimes characterized by violence, and sadly, the youths are the ones who are the forefront of this. What would you say about youths who make themselves available to be used as elements to disrupt elections in the country?
First and foremost, I sympathize with them because sometimes it's necessity. Sometimes it's hunger, it's lack of knowledge, it's lack of the right exposure. So I sympathize with that. But that being said, we cannot sell our future today. We as youths, they always say the youths are the leaders of tomorrow. If today you sabotage your tomorrow today, or you've eaten your tomorrow today, then you have no tomorrow to look forward to. So I would always encourage any youth who is being tapped into or told to do these type of things to absolutely desist. They should not be part of such violence. They should not be part of damaging their own future. So I get why it happens, and I sympathize with people who have to go through these things. But the reality is that it's a crime for you to electoral violence and things like that. But at the same time, we the youth need to wake up and realize that this is our future, this is our country, we are stakeholders in this country, we should have the right say, and we cannot keep dying for somebody else's ambition. Instead, we should die and stand for our own ambitions, which is to make Nigeria better for our children and our children's children.
Right. You're talking about youth waking up. I mean, there's been this argument on whether or not youth have the competence and capacity to run for offices and actually hold a say. I mean, and do well in that particular seat. What's your take on that?
I absolutely think youth have the capacity. Most corporations in the world, if you look at the engine room behind them, it's the youth. If you go to most corporations, most successful countries in the world, you go to countries like Finland, you go to countries like Canada, you go to the youth, or you would not youth in the term of the United Nations term youth, 25 and below, but young people are making a difference everywhere else in the world. In Jamaica, you have young people doing good things. In Nigeria, you have young people doing good things in private sector. In Japan, you have young people doing good things. In China, everywhere in the world, you have young people doing good things. So young people do have the capacity. I truly believe that, and I believe young people are necessary in the development process, because a man who is forgive me to say this, but a man who's 70, 80 cannot tell you what to expect or what you should look forward to 40 years from now. I mean, God gives life, God takes life. I know that.
Right.
It doesn't mean that just because you're young you live that long, but we're just talking from a probability and from a large extent, So anybody who has the capacity to look forward to 40 years from now is somebody who most likely would be here 40 years from now. And I feel youths are definitely capable. Youths are doing great things in the world. Absolutely great things. Facebook was started by a young man at the age of 20-something. So these are things that are still going on. They're still doing great things in private sector. Why can't they be allowed to do it in public sector?
Okay, talking about on that, I had your dad last week on the program, former Deputy Senate President, and to a large extent, he agreed with you on the perception that you just shared with us. But also, he highlighted some youth. He mentioned some youth who've been given the opportunity to hold key leadership positions, but at the end of the day, they could not deliver. I mean, he categorically stated or complained about the lifestyle of youths currently. I mean, what has that got to say about?
I mean, for me, I feel everybody has to be given a chance to either make a mistake. Capable people. That's what I mean. Capable people. But then again, you can't determine who is capable without an opportunity. There needs to first be an opportunity before you can weed out who is capable and who is not capable. So at this very point in time, I would actually say that it is very, very important that youth must be part of what is going on. It is absolutely. I cannot emphasize it anymore, because the truth of the matter is the future is now. You build what you're going to rip a couple of years from today. You're not going to Amazon, Google, even Nigerian companies, Nigerian organizations say Dangote, Glow, whatever you want to call them. They didn't start in one day and they didn't end in one day. And I'm sure every successful man has a story to tell of failures and successes. So just because a few youth in certain opinions of people, they didn't do well, it doesn't mean categorically every youth is not going to do well. So I feel if anything, the older generation have had a longer chance to do well, and they still didn't.
Right.
So why not give the opportunity to the youth also to learn to do what is right?
Okay, there's this belief that youths who already have a political background, who their parents probably have held positions, that they have a better chance at wanting to run for offices and winning, even though there might be other youths out there who might have the capacity and the competence but lack
the resources, financially or otherwise, to run for these offices. Do you share in that belief?
So you see, it's for me, it's a double-sided sword. It's 50-50. If it was that easy, I would have been in office. That's number one.
Okay.
If it was that easy and you feel just because you had an opportunity or you came from a political home, you would definitely win or you have a better chance. If that was the case, then I wouldn't be having this conversation with you as Mr. Umar Mantu. I would have been having a different honorable Umar Mantu. So it's a perception that I know exists, but it's not necessarily the case. The truth of the matter is there is a process to getting to office. If you do not put in the work, if you do not put in the right strategies, and if you do not come together collectively with either your team or the community or the society you're trying to serve, chances are it's just not going to work, whether competent or not, or whether young or old. Old people lose elections, young people win elections. Young people win elections, old people lose elections. It goes both ways. So it's not, I don't think it's necessarily a total advantage, but it's definitely not a disadvantage, having been coming from political.
You agree to a large extent that the advantages are way higher than the disadvantages?
I don't necessarily agree so, because there's also a pre-notion by people that, for example, people only look at the good side. But in politics, there are people who don't necessarily like the family you come from. So you, who have nothing to do with the political history before, you inherit the political enemies also. So it's not necessarily all, roses. But I absolutely agree with you that...
the advantages are way higher.
I don't know. I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. But
so
it has both advantages and disadvantages.
Everything.
Yes, it has both advantages and disadvantages.
Okay, as you're parting words, what would be your message to Nigerian youths out there who are looking forward to running for leadership positions in the country?
First and foremost, my message to Nigerian youth, whether you're looking for office or not, is that you must do something to serve humanity, either by giving your time, your talent, or your treasure. Because there's a miscommunication that, I cannot contribute to society, I cannot run if I don't have any particular amount of resources, or I cannot get to a particular place in life, or I need to achieve this before I do this. That is not the case. I encourage all Nigerian youth to serve their community. Don't always think about what am I going to take. What are you also going to do to make your neighbor's life better? What are you going to do when you see your creator at the end of your lifetime? I always say something: I didn't come to this world with anything, and I'm not going to leave this world with anything. The only thing that would matter is the legacy I leave, and I pray to God it's a right one and a positive one, and I pray every single youth should imbibe such culture moving forward.
All right, thank you very much, Barrister Umar Mantu, who is a youth advocate. He is a strong youth advocate, and he is advising Nigerian youths out there to ensure that they do not sabotage their tomorrow today by allowing themselves to be used as elements to disrupt elections in terms of electoral violence. And he is also advising youths to ensure that they work to leave a legacy behind. I mean, that's what's going to speak for them in the future. It's the program Youth Can. We'll take a break. When we get back, we'll move on to other segments. To stay with us.
Umar Mantu believes that youth have the capacity to run and hold any key political offices. He cited achievements of some young people in other clients, while calling on his fellow young Nigerians to ensure that they take up the challenge. For you to be part of this program, either by way of sponsorship, participation, or advert placement, you can reach us through our various social media platforms or through our numbers that will be showing on your screen. Always remember that for us to be the leaders of tomorrow as youths, we have to start today. Yes, Youth Can. I'll see you same time next week. I remain your host, Osawana Me Ibizube. Stay safe.